how was the week in preparation for regional play?
Similar to last year, I guess we played a couple more games at the tournament, but we still were able to take a day off and then kind of abbreviated template. I think we took 2 days off last year. We took one and then started getting back together in the weight room, some movements. We did 2 squad days, so we actually played against ourselves for 2 days. And then we started tapering, I think, Tuesday. We did the day after Memorial Day, we did a morning session of weightlifting, and then of course we went to the lake to do something to stay together, kind of a two-a-day concept. Come back and practice, I guess Monday and last night we practiced at 6 p.m., which is a game time, to just get used to the sun, the field, the time of everything, and pretty light today. All 4 teams are practicing today on the field. We took the 10 o'clock slot, or was given the 10 o'clock slot this morning, so we've already finished our work for the regional now. Now it's they'll have a budget of time of the rest of the day, and when they play until 6 tomorrow, they'll have a lot to, part of that traditional game time of getting ready, that pregame meal at 2 o'clock tomorrow. So they have some time for the rest of the day and tomorrow to get ready, but a very similar template that's worked pretty good for us the last few years.
Butch, what have you seen out of Penn now that you had a chance to look at them?
Yeah, patient hitters. We're going to see somebody that reminds us of Joseph Gonzalez for our fans, to know that's the type of pitcher that we're seeing, maybe 91, 94 sinker type guy with a slider and some type of changeup, maybe even a split. We're that fastball movement, so we worked the machine a little bit, trying to create some sync and trying to continue to get lined up with that pitch with our hitters. Joseph was probably 27 to 32%, a little bit more with the fastball offering, so this is probably a 38% type sinker deal like Joseph, but a lot more of the off-speed stuff, a lot more sliders, a lot more change-ups, and very successful starting pitcher. They got a closer with multiple saves, 6 or 7 saves, so that always gives you respect. I think for this team, they've won 8 games in a row, won their deal. Southern Miss won their deal. Sanford won their deal. I caution everyone to, as we prepared, this feels like as tough of a field as we had last year. Sometimes the casual fan can't get past the big names. We had a Florida State and a UCLA here last year, which is that branded name. These are good baseball teams. Like I said, they've won 8 in a row. They have patient hitters, a lot more right-handed. And the other biggest compliment I can give to Penn is, after this season, 5 of their graduating seniors will come and play at Texas A&M, at Georgia, at Virginia Tech, at Virginia, for example. So pretty good roster that has a lot of our respect. But we feel like we are prepared. We feel like we're a confident ball club. You have to get to that stage to make a run, and really all our focus is on Penn, because they are what stands in the way of us being able to try to advance in this tournament beginning tomorrow. They'll try to link up. When I say patient hitters, they're really trying to pass it to the next guy, put pitches into you. It's not a track meet, and it's not, 17 sacrifices, maybe a little bit more in our league, but it's not everything. I think they're just trying to link up, have at bats, put pitches in pitchers, and just have good veteran at bats. And like I said, they've won. They're on a hot streak, and a lot of the people that we gathered information from felt like it was some type of Power 5 pitching staff. So those are some things that we're thinking about.
Butch, at what point did you see Bryson and say, hey, this is different than what it has been?
When he come in from Pearl River, him and Bobby Pierce, I remember the first fall they were together, the balls were going everywhere. From a batting practice and a practice standpoint. In the game stuff, it was a little different. Of course, we had to do surgery with Bobby, which held him until last year to get it going. And Bryson was just so athletic. He came as a junior college shortstop, wound up being able to go to the outfield, come back and plays third. Just his character and stuff, it's just you never want to stop believing. These players are allowed to get better, and as long as somebody is a great teammate, They're getting good grades. They're always on time. They're that talented. I don't think you ever give up on it. And Bryson didn't give up on himself either, which is we've chronicled that the best we could. And it kind of merged up. I think his strike zone has gotten smaller from my standpoint. And players allowed to get better. He's been here long enough. He never quit on himself. Coach Gross, Coach Nunemaker, everybody kept working with him, and that's what you get is a great result. I remember Foster sat here for a freshman year. I'm proud of him too. Cole Foster sat here behind a Ryan Bliss and learned coming from high school, how to play short. He'd come in as like a $1 million baby, and he sat right there and sat behind Ryan Bliss and learned the position, and now he's being rewarded for it. I do think in this day and time, these are a couple of good examples to remind the world, a young baseball player that may be anywhere, to absolutely, this journey can be rewarding by staying engaged and continuing to grow and get better. But Bryson has good comfort. He has great confidence. I think his confidence is an all-time high, and I think everything merged at the right time with having another year to play here.
With the success that your teams have had kind of at this stage in regionals, I'm curious what sort of common denominators you've seen from those teams in terms of what they have and maybe attributes to that.
Yeah, I wish I knew. And that's as honest as I can be. We've won 9 regional games in a row. I think there's a lot of programs around the country that would have liked to have done that the last 3 regionals. There's no secret. We're just telling them that they are prepared, and that we should be one of the mentally toughest teams in the country because of what we do. We think we do a couple of things along the way consistently since August that, you better be pretty mentally tough to line up with us. Whether that works out or not, that's a rock for us. But if I knew exactly what it was, but I tell you what, I'd rather put that on the line right now and get to keep playing. So I'm willing to shove it back out and put that on the line. And really over half this team was not part of that. So this is a new team, and this is their opportunity. And we're just trying to get them into tomorrow. And if we don't have success tomorrow in some way, shape, form, or fashion, that road gets harder for both teams. So I don't know. Maybe some leadership. Maybe some things I wish I really, really knew, because I would apply that to the SEC tournament, right? We would do better in the SEC tournament if there was some rhythm, or if I had some drawn-out real answer. But yeah, we played well at this stage. I think the first regional before that, we went 2-2 at Florida State, so that's kind of our resume of regional since I've been fortunate enough to be the head coach here. But they got to go make their own. I'm just glad to get an opportunity, and I'm glad to throw all that back out on the line. That means we're still playing.
Which you've mentioned twice now about how many guys are new to this that weren't here last year or the year before. What's it meant to have a guy like Kason Howell, who's had no wild dirt in his cleats now twice, here this week and kind of helping guide these guys through preparation for postseason play?
Yeah, I think I sensed that a couple of 3 weeks ago. I can't remember one of these. I just said to Kason Howell, I said something, effect or something like that. But it's been true. I think it was back to where you're 5-10 and everybody's looking around like, where do we go? What do we do? And Kason's like, hey, I've been here before. I've done this before. And I kicked Ann Hill a couple of weeks earlier than that when we were struggling, and it just put us in a lot of different directions. We wound up at that first half coming out of Tuscaloosa at 5-10, and I think everybody's wondering. And I think that's where Kason Howell circled the wagons. I think that's where he got his team. I think that's when he pulled them together, and he kind of said this is about to get different. And so, yeah, probably as a single person, I think he's had the biggest impact in the second half and where this team is today going into hosting a regional. I still give him a ton of credit. I mentioned to coaches this is their job, so they got to keep doing their job regardless of how we're playing. And they've been consistent and great with these players. But the Case and Howell effect of this ball club is real, and the clubhouse is theirs. So I don't want our coaches dominating the clubhouse. That's for the players and for the leadership of the players that are entrusted with that. And I think they've done a great job with that clubhouse, bringing everybody together. And Cason's been the leader, and Bobby and LaRue and Bryson and all these guys are very good leaders and contributors. I just think they went to a servant leadership and let Cason be out front with it.
Pitching plan for this regional.
Also, and then if we can get out of the first inning, or if we got to do something early, maybe Armstrong gets us a jam, then maybe one of these lefties might have to come in that's done good. We've run a very similar deal, so I'm just thinking about the first inning tomorrow, what I would do in the bullpen. I want to earn an opportunity to get to a second game. Did we win? Did we lose? This is one of those deals. We have Herbert Holtz that could start game 2. We have Vail that could start game 2. Depending on, you don't even know who you're going to play until after you play your first one. We're doing also game 1, more of a majority right-handed lineup, and then we're thinking about in the middle of an inning where would we go to start an inning, where we would go, and that's kind of as deep as we are. Even though everybody's lined up, you would think Cannon's later in the ball game, just like we've done. I don't think you have to do a lot of research to figure out who we are. But as far as what's next, I don't even know who the next opponent would be. So just awesome.
You talked about it, head in the mid. Is that job number 1 for Alsop?
Yeah, just his ability to get ahead. There's just so many more strikes from the stretch. We probably spend a lot more time in the stretch than the windup. If you're talking about what's a level 2 or a deeper level of what you're trying to do to achieve that. And then early on, he's gotten stronger. I've liked his last, few outings. I thought he threw pretty competitive in the Vanderbilt game. That game wound up, they stretched it out 6-2. I think Bryson's home run made it 6-4, but I thought for Alsop's 5 innings or whatever, we were still in a ball game and still in a good place when he come out. So I think we're growing a little bit, and I think he's done a nice job. And we were going to throw him probably game 1 or game 2 anyway. So we think this is the best matchup to pitching.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
You already met with players?